Every time.
John's wearing his Fulham jersey this week because they actually won a game at the weekend.
Yeah, shut up. Yes, we did. And you know what was brilliant is that morning I put out my little prediction that me and Dean did last week, where I said that you never back against Fulham at home. They're one of the foreign teams in the league. They cannot buy a win away from home, and everybody was like, "No, get out." It's like it's Fulham at home. It just it's like you got Arsenal at home, you got Sunderland at home, you've got Newcastle at home, you've got City at home, and then you got Fulham at home. They're top six for home form. But we're not here to talk about that.
We're not tired to talk about that.
But we're back. We're back anyway. Game week 35 is on the horizon. We're very close to the end of the season. Oh, Gary has changed his...
I've lost my camera.
Gary has changed his camera. Now we've got an upper view of Gary. But anyway, we're... What was I saying? Right. Great start. Yes, I was saying game week 35 is upon us. Week 34 is now in the annals. We're getting very close to the end of the season. So I guess we've got some really kind of hot topics. We've got obviously the Golden Boot contenders, Haaland versus Thiago for the Golden Boot. We're going to look at potential players of the year and young players of the year, because I think we're definitely in that pocket of the season now where these guys are going to be announced over the next week or two. They normally get announced before the last game week of the season, so they can get their trophies at the last game of the season. And then we're going to look at game week 35, this weekend's fixtures, what's happening, how things are going, who's going to finish where, because everything is still to play for in the league. Who's getting relegated, who's getting European slots, that middle pack is tighter than it's ever been, and of course the title race. We're not going to go into too much detail in that one today, but we will look at obviously the 35 fixtures. So Gary, I suppose the Golden Boot race is probably the best way to start, because who loves scoring goals? We all love scoring goals.
We love a good goal scorer, don't we? We do. Yeah, look, I don't think this is a done. So on the face of it, yeah, Haaland he's got 24 goals this year, which, to be fair, is actually quite a low return for him. Generally, you're kind of he's close to 30 or north of 30. I mean, that's just the I suppose the standard that he's been setting over the last couple of seasons. Yeah. So for him to be on 24 but still leading the Golden Boot race, I think kind of tells you a lot about the way the league has gone this year insofar as quality of play and I suppose the way Haaland plays. We've spoken about that. We won't get into that. But it is a two-horse race. So you've got Erling Haaland on 24 goals. You've got Thiago. Who would have thought it?
No.
Nobody had that on their bucket list at the start of the season on 21. The next one down from that is Semenyo for City. And I think, at the start of the season, people would have thought he'd be thereabouts considering his form for Bournemouth, but he's gone into a team where goals come from everywhere else, so he's probably fallen off. So I think it's fair to say it's a two-horse race.
Yeah, like if we look at the top contenders, Haaland's on 24, Thiago on 21, Semenyo 15, Joe Pedro 14, Welbeck 12, Gyökeres 12, which is beggar's belief. And Kitike 11. And then on 10 is Harry Wilson, Junior Kroupi, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Sean Peta on 10 apiece. Like, it's a two-horse race. It's a two-horse.
Look, it is. It absolutely is a two-horse race. Now, to be fair, I would think a lot of people are going to look at this and go, 4 or 5 games left in the season. Haaland is 3 goals ahead. It's a one-horse race. It's a done deal. I'm not totally 100% sure about that, because when you delve into the numbers a little bit more, right? Thiago has a 51% shot accuracy versus 44% for Haaland.
Yes.
Right? And he's got a goal to shot conversion rate that's 7% higher than Haaland's. So you do have to take those things into account when you're looking at it. So there's still a chance for him to actually catch this up. You've also got to remember, Thiago, the goals can come from anywhere for City. We know this.
Which is something I wanted to touch on, that Haaland's numbers, if we were to look at where he was at, August, September, October, November, we were all sitting here come mid-November going, oh my God, he's actually on track to have a record season. He was on, I think, was it 40 goals in all comps between internationals, league, club, in November.
At one stage, he was tracking to beating the 60 mark for the season. That wasn't after like 2 or 3 games. That was after maybe 10 or 11 games. Had he kept up that form, he was hitting 60 goals in the season. Do you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's one of these ones that I think there's a couple of pieces of the puzzle around Haaland. It's like normally over the last couple of years, he's actually started the season like a house on fire. It's almost like the break, getting the body right over the summer helps. I think what happens as well was this season we saw a change in Pep's dynamics, which was service the fuck out of Erling Haaland and he will score. Then January came about and people started double stacking on Haaland and double defending him, which then created space for your Cherkis, your Semenyos when he came in, which is why you're seeing those numbers start to increase while Haaland's have majorly dropped off. Haaland's averaging one goal every 3 games since the turn of the year, which by Haaland's reckoning is really, really fucking low. I think he's also trying to keep himself in play and in peak condition for the summer, for the World Cup. First time his country's been there in a long, long time. But like, and then you've your Thiago. Who would have go on?
Who would have thought?
But who would have thought that he'd also be Brazil's number 9 going into a World Cup? Because that's what he is now.
This is what I wanted to touch on there, because you mentioned Haaland going to the World Cup with Norway. He's a guaranteed seat on the plane. It's as simple as that. Like, Thiago probably is at this point, but I'd say he still has a bit to prove, because he's, we mentioned João Pedro. He's 4th in the race at the moment. He's going to be playing up front for Brazil most likely at some point during the tournament as well. Richarlison is there for an option as well. There's 2 or 3 players who could potentially usurp him in that number 9 role. I think Thiago is going to be playing like an absolute bat out of hell for the next couple of weeks to make sure he's starting that first game in the World Cup.
Yes, 100%.
I think he's hungry.
I think he's hungry, and like I've said this before, like a lot of people are sleeping on Brazil in the World Cup, but like when you look at their attackers, you just have to go, oh fuck, because you've got Neymar, who may or may not be there. Who cares? If he's there, he's Brazil's icon. But you've got Vinicius, you've got Rodrigo, you've got Paqueta, Cunha, Martinelli, who plays fucking fantastic for Brazil. You've got João Pedro, Evan Nielsen, Richarlison, Igor Thiago, Ryan, who seems to have a big, big reckoning in Carlo Ancelotti's book, and Esteban, who obviously is injured now. But like, that's just the ones off the top of my head. There is others, and that's just like the attacking.
There's a lot of.
They've got options that they haven't had since probably the 02-04 era. This is the best attacking outlay they've had. It's not just like Brazil are going into a tournament where it's whether they have Neymar or not, and it's meh. Like, when's the last time that happened?
Yeah, that's not the Brazil way. Brazil tend to go into tournaments where they're depending on one shining light, and then there's a couple of superstars around them, and that has been for the last couple of years has been Neymar. But this is why I think the race is not done between Thiago and Haaland, because I think Thiago will be hungry enough to show what he can do and to make sure he cements his spot starting that first game.
I do have one.
And then after that, it's building in within the tournament of staying in the team. He wants to be the player who is number 9 for Brazil at the World Cup. Every centre forward, every attacking player or footballer growing up in Brazil wants to play for their national team at a World Cup as the number 9, preferably, or the number 7. That's where they want to be playing.
Yes.
And Thiago has the chance to do that, but now he has to cement it over the next 4 or 5 games, and that's where I think he might. It's an outside bet, but he might just pip Haaland to it. And the other side of it, City have kind of fallen off a little bit in their last couple of games. Their performances haven't been up to par. The Burnley game, if you didn't see it, was shaky.
It was shaky, but they did beat Arsenal tidily the week before that. They beat Chelsea tidily the week before that, and ripped Arsenal, ripped Liverpool a new one in the cup. So you're looking at one bad performance in 5. Where I would be more curious about is looking at the run-ins. So if we look at their run-ins, City have Everton away, Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, Palace at home, and Villa at home. That's their run-in. And remember, they're going for the league. And then on the Brentford side, you've got West Ham at home, City away, Palace at home, and Liverpool away. Two hard games, 2 games where I reckon he'll score versus a Man City team hunting for a title against Everton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Palace, Villa. I can't see Thiago making up a 3-goal swing on Haaland with a game less, and given the quality of the opposition they're against. That would be my only thing. I think Haaland will sew up the Golden Boot solely. He's a game more in the quality proposition is not the same.
Yeah, look, if I'm a betting man and putting my money on Haaland, there's no two ways about it. But I wouldn't be like you hear a lot of pundits coming out saying, "Oh, it's a done deal. Just give him the Golden Boot now."
It's not.
I would. Yeah, I'm not one for that. To be honest with you, I don't think it's that cut and dry.
Yeah.
I am putting I'm putting my money on Haaland, and he's worse than even money on my head. But stranger things have happened.
Strange things have happened. 3 goals, 3-goal difference. It's doable. It is doable.
It's-
The question for you on this, given the season that Thiago's had, given how well he has played this season, he's the only striker outside of Haaland this season who I've seen ragdoll Gabriel and Saliba and Van Dijk. Van Dijk and Gabriel and Saliba. He's the only striker outside of Haaland ragdoll them all. Like, he's a beast. He's strong. He's fast. As you said, he has that snapshot in the locker. Is he still at Brentford next year?
Yes. Yeah, I think he is.
I don't think.
Yeah. I think. Well, so again, a lot of this is going to depend on what happens during the World Cup, but I think he's there for 12 more months.
I think if he has a good World Cup, given his age and everything like this, if he has a good World Cup, I think someone just comes in, stumps up the money and goes, "Let's get the next." Do I think it's in England? He could end up being Chelsea centre forward if they sort their shit out.
I don't know. You see, there's a few cautionary tales recently. Okay, albeit with maybe some younger players. Like everybody gushed over John Duran after his cameo at Villa, and obviously he's kind of made big money moves outside of the Premier League and has kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. Mbeumo went to United after a super season at Brentford, and he's been okay. He hasn't been. He certainly hasn't hit the same heights as what he did at Brentford last season.
I would say, I would say the Mbeumo one, and this is an argument I've had online with many United fans. I think under Amorim he was fantastic. He was their best attacker under Carrick. I think Mbeumo suits a team that plays a system. It doesn't matter what the system is, but he has a very clear defined job versus what's happening now, which is just win a game. I don't think he's as free flowing.
He's not as effective.
He's not the free. Bruno, if you just go play football, he goes and plays football. I think Mbeumo is more of that kind of system driven footballer going, here's how we're going to play. Here's your job. And then when he gets the definition of his job, he's fucking fantastic. You can see it in the way his numbers have dropped off in the last 12 games in the character come in. He's got 3 goals in the character. 4.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely fair. But at the same time, if you're looking at him, Brentford last season, and then comparing him to Thiago Brentford this season, and you're looking at the two of them going, will a team take a punt on Thiago? Because to be fair, he's only done it for one season. I think you look at Mbeumo and you think, it might make you think twice. And then not only do you look at Mbeumo, you look at Wissa as well from Brentford last season, who Newcastle now reportedly are looking to move on after spending 50-odd million on him during the summer.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether clubs are going to be willing to stump up, and it will probably be 50 or 60 million is what Brentford would be looking for him for. I don't know whether they stump up that money. I really don't. Even on the back of a decent World Cup.
I wouldn't
if he does it again next season.
I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United did. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, and that was their second centre forward alongside Sesko. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea did. I wouldn't be surprised if Arsenal.
I think Chelsea. I think if anyone's going to do it, it's probably going to be Chelsea. I'm sure we'll get into it in a future pod, but there's going to be a huge change there. I think there's going to be a huge summer of changes at Chelsea, so it might make sense to bring him in. But then you've got João Pedro, who has made his big money move and has been decent this year as well. It's hard to know. I don't think he's going anywhere this season. And particularly if Brentford get European football, which they should, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Do you know what? Actually, I think European football at Brentford could get him to stay another year. I think a lot there is going to ride on the World Cup. I think he's an outside bet for the Golden Boot in the World Cup.
Yeah, there's a couple of players I'd be looking at for that bet, and he's definitely one of them.
He's my dark horse. I mean, you're going to have Kane. Kane's the favourite. It should be the favourite. Kane, Mbappe,
As-
Yamal,
yeah.
they're probably your three favourites. And I'd actually have Igor Thiago.
Just below them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But in summary, Haaland for the Golden Boot, yeah.
Haaland for the Golden Boot. Haaland for the Golden Boot. I think it's not a fully done deal yet. Let's see what City do at their game in hand. Let's have a look at that. But I think if you're putting money down, Haaland's the man to be back in there. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We'd love to see the other lad do it because
I'd love to see someone other than Haaland win it. I would absolutely, but I don't see it.
Although he's only won Golden Boot in his 3 years because Salah got it last year. But anyhow, right. Speaking of someone who was really good last year, we need to look at who's really good this year. Player of the year contenders. I know. Yeah, I know that was a real hurtful swing at you.
Thank you.
Player of the year, right? So we're at that. As you said, there's only 3, 4, 5 games left, depending on which team you are a fan of. So this is the time of year where we're going to the conversations are happening. I think the votes are already done, and it'll just be announced with 2 matches. That's kind of so we should know who this is in 2 weeks' time. Do we want to start with the young player of the year first? Or we want to start with the player of the year first because I'm going to give you a list of contenders, and then we're going to.
Look, let's start with player of the year first. I think probably the way to go. But before we get into that, I just on the voting thing, I don't understand it. I don't understand why we wait or why it's done before the season ends. Because for me, so I don't believe he should win it, but I have a very strong opinion on who I think will win it.
Okay.
Which we can get into in a minute, but I think that would be backed up further and be a stronger case depending on what way the rest of the season actually pans out.
I think
so. For me, for me, there is only one winner. There should only be one winner, and I actually think we're probably going to agree on this.
Okay.
And it's Bruno.
Yeah.
For me, and it's not even an argument.
It's not.
It's absolutely not even an argument. Like if you look at the other players who we list off, you're looking at Declan Rice, you're looking at Bernardo Silva, you're probably looking at Haaland.
I would the list. I wouldn't even have Haaland on the list. I was having Declan Rice on the list, Bruno on the list, Bernardo Silva on the list, Semenyo on the list, and Gabriel on the list. That was my 5, 6. That was my 5, 6. So literally Rice, Gabriel from Arsenal, Semenyo and Silva from City, Bruno.
I think so. I think either Rice or Bernardo Silva will win it.
I think Silva will actually win it because he's leaving.
So this is the thing. I think Bernardo Silva wins it because it's his last season and there's a nostalgia thing, and it tends to happen in sport. It happened in the NFL MVP where they gave it to Matt Stafford over Drake May. It's going to happen here where they give it to Bernardo Silva over Bruno Fernandes, or Declan Rice. Yeah, or Declan Rice because he's English.
Yeah. And Bruno's not popular, even though
he's not the popular choice, but statistically, he is
more than statistically. The eye test, the data, the impact on their team. There isn't a metric. I don't think that you can actually put Bruno. We talked about this. Bruno's 1 assist shy of beating or equaling the Premier League all-time single season assist record held by Kevin De Bruyne and Thierry Henry. 1 assist shy of 4 games played. He's breaking it. It's going to happen. Watch the way he's playing. He could have got 3 or 4 last night against Brentford. He's out there playing. Did you watch him last night? Because Brentford were way better than Man United, but he's out there himself having a fucking party. Every pass you just have to sit there. You're almost grabbing the armchair and going, "The actual fuck is this fella?" Is this the set go? The easy ball was to Mbeumo. And he just went, "I'm that good right now. No, I'm not going to play the pass y'all expect me to do because I can do this one." Goal.
He's playing differently. The football he's playing at the moment, it's different gravy to everything else. It really, really is. And it's about you can look at the statistics, and you've said it already. The assist record is there to be broken. And I think he will break it. I don't like Bruno as a player. I think he's whingy. I think he's a bad captain. He's a bad leader. But as a footballer, this season he has been exceptional. And by far and away, he has been the best player in the Premier League. And he's also been the most valuable player. If you take it in that from that viewpoint, what player is the most valuable to their team? It's Bruno at United.
And
if you take Rice out of Arsenal, Arsenal is still half decent. You take Semenyo out of City or Silva out of City, they're still half decent. If you took Bruno out of United,
they're 10.
I guarantee United fans will be having an absolute heart attack.
Yeah.
Because they're mid-table.
Yeah.
They're probably mid-table. Last season we spoke about this. He may have saved them from being in a relegation battle. He may not have saved them from actual relegation, but he certainly saved them from being in the conversation for any great length of time last season.
Well, here's the number for you.
He's elevated that again this season.
Chance created number, right? He has 112 chances created in the league. This is the anomaly of the man. 112 chances created. That is double the next man on the list, which is Declan Rice with 59. He's created twice the amount of chances of the next most creative player in the league this season. Next up is Dom Szoboszlai. After that is Enzo, Cherki, Stash. They're the next ones. So he's double.
And actually, it's interesting because it's not like if you go through that top 5 list, right? I don't think there's anybody in. There's no team that's repeating itself twice. I don't think in that top 5. If I heard you right,
versus next not up like 6. So Liverpool have 2 of the top 10. Let's say.
Yeah, but it's not like you've got 2 players from City who are doing the same amount that Fernandes is doing on his own at United. You get me? He's doing it, on his own. Better than everybody else.
Behind Haaland.
Yeah.
Imagine what he'd have that assist number cleaned and on his table at home already.
Oh, look.
If he had a striker.
Bruno and Haaland.
Not being harsh on Benjamin Sesko, but if he had a João Pedro in front of him, if he had a Haaland in front of him, if he had, I don't know, an Ekitike or
Thiago.
Or a Thiago. Well, Thiago would have 30 plus goals, and fucking Bruno would be on 30 plus assists.
Oh, if you were to put Haaland or Thiago into that United team this season, they'd be going close to challenging Arsenal and City for the league. It's that simple.
He's that.
I think if you had Haaland in that United team, you'd just hand them the trophy right now because the two of them are just phenomenal.
Yeah. Bonkers.
But yeah, for me, that it is Bruno. I do think it will be Bernardo Silva who'll get the award because of the nostalgia piece.
I don't, and the reason why. So the voting would have closed. Actually, the voting would have closed a couple weeks ago. So it actually probably would have closed just before he announced he's leaving at the end of the season. He's been brilliant this year. I think it's almost like I think the Arsenal thing is going to happen because Declan Rice is going to win a Ballon d'Or if we win the league and the Champions League and England win the World Cup and Declan Rice and fucking Declan Rice and he's Irish for a start, or was once upon a time. So, funnily enough, England's best 4 players are Irish. Just saying, they all hold Irish passports.
I'm not even poking that bear. I'm not even.
Actually, Jude Bellingham holds an Irish passport. Harry Kane holds an Irish passport. Declan Rice has played for fucking Ireland.
So did Wayne Rooney, but he qualified into the Granny Group. But we won't.
We're not here to get into that whole argument.
We're not going to get into that.
But I do think there's a big piece here for. Well, I think Declan Rice. Look, he's been phenomenal this season. He's been a major component in the Arsenal team. He's been a bright, but I don't think he's a leader yet. To be honest, that's just me. I think he will get there. I think he will become a leader when he becomes a centre back. This is just me personally saying this. I think he will become a leader in football when he becomes a centre back, which is how he started his career at West Ham, and I think that's how he's going to end his career as a centre back, and as a fucking good one. But I think Gabriel has probably been better. Even in the Arsenal team, Gabriel's probably been so solid at that. That's just me personally, but I think Declan Rice is in the conversation. He has to be in the conversation.
I think he does have to be in the conversation alongside Silva. and Fernandes, absolutely. But I think I'd be fully agree with you.
Bruno
For me, he
one.
hasn't been the best. He hasn't been the best Arsenal player this season for me.
No.
I think who has been is Gabriel.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think you'd absolutely put him. You'd put him in there. I think if you spoke to honest Arsenal fans, and there's probably not many of them out there right now, but anyway, if you gave them a choice of who you had to get, who you want in your team, you can only choose one between Declan Rice and Gabriel. I think anyone who's been honest puts Gabriel in ahead of Rice. Rice is, I don't want to say he's replaceable, but you can fill that void quicker, I think, than you can
I
at centre
actually
back.
rattled off a Premier League team of the season the other day, and one of the lads just said, "Fuck you, that it's just clean, done." It's Ryan goals, it's Gabriel and Gahey at centre back, it's Mukeli from Sunderland at right back, it's Nico O'Riley at left back, it's Soboslai, Fernandes, and Rice as the midfield, it's Semenyo in the 10, and Van Haaland up top, and I don't think anybody can argue with that. I don't think anybody can argue with that. But for me, if I'm picking player of the year now, Bruno 1, Declan Rice 2, and Silva 3. That would be me, how I think it's going to pan out. If it was me personally, I would have Bruno 1, Silva 2, Gabriel 3, Rice 4, Semenyo 5. That's me.
Yeah, I think that, personally, I would be matching that. I do think Bernardo Silva will win it. I think the voting closing came after his announcement, but I can't be 100% sure on that one. I think the nostalgia play will come into play. So I actually think the way it's going to go is Silva 1, Rice 2, Bruno 3, which is
I don't know how you can have a fella break records for most creative season. We've seen in a season that's been fucking bereft of creativity and I know people are going to say, well, 8 of his fucking assists have come from set pieces. Some of the deliveries, it's not even about it being a set piece. Because we have to separate set pieces and the NFLization of set pieces versus what is just straight up clean delivery and some of his balls in. There was an assist earlier in the season to Mbeumo where it came back to him and he half volleyed it into the box to the back post from Mbeumo. That counts as a set piece assist. But that's one of the best passes. That's one of the best 3 passes of the season, alongside one we saw 2 weeks ago in the City Arsenal game. Yeah.
Look, I think by all metrics he has to be there. Yeah. He absolutely has to be there. I was actually pulling up some stats on the top assists, and even you're talking about set pieces and whatnot, but his overall play, I mean, he's the only player in the top 6 assists who have a higher pass accuracy rating than him is Ryan Cherki. And even at that, it's pretty freaking close between the two of them.
Cherki has played half game of football, so naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're looking at pass completion, it passes by minutes, So by proxy of Bruno having missed 1 game of football all season, he's going to have missed more.
He's going to have it, yeah. So his all-round game and
distance covered
by every statistic measurable, he should be player of the year. I don't think he will be.
You don't think he will? I do, and I should. But so Bruno, in summary,
right. I think there's consensus there. Yeah, to be fair.
Deal. Gary, what's happening? We're agreeing on a lot of it. Where's the animosity? Where's the hate? We're agreeing. I think we're going to agree on the next one as well.
Well, to be fair, we've kind of gushed a little bit about him over the last couple of weeks, and I'm
going to knock.
If he was on I'll be honest. If he was on this form,
I'm just going to give you options before we cream.
Let's have a look at options because I know we're going to agree on who we think it's going to be and who
the Young Player of the Year nominees are the Statter nominees: Elliot Anderson, Ryan Cherki, Nico O'Riley, and Junior Kroupi.
I would probably add Morgan Rogers into that as well, if he still qualifies.
If he does, actually, so yes, I could see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think Morgan Rogers is definitely one for the conversation. Double goals and assists. I think this year he's probably been Villa's best attacking option this season. He's been relatively consistent throughout it. Doesn't win it, but should be in the conversation.
Well, it says enough when there's a genuine conversation of does he start ahead of Cole Palmer and Phil Foden in the England team in the summer, and it's basically a thing of, ooh, how would you get him and Bellingham into the same team? You're like, really, Morgan Rodgers? If you said that to anybody last season, that this will be the conversation by this point this year is who of Cole Palmer and Phil Foden is getting left at home to make sure that Morgan Rodgers.
Oh, you'd hit them with your shoe. You'd be hitting them with your shoe because you'd be like, "What the hell are you think?"
But one of them is staying at home to accommodate him.
Yeah, and I think it has to. I think that has to happen because he's been that good. So, but I think Foden gets left behind because of how good Rodgers has been this year.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's been the best young player of the year.
No, I think 5th is probably a fair.
Yeah, I think so. I think Elliot Anderson is probably 4th in that list.
I would have him. I have him second on mine. I have him second on mine. Literally, the way I had Morgan Rodgers is a great shout, by the way. I had in second, I had Anderson. In third, I had Kroupi. In fourth, I had Cherki, which means you know who's top for me. But yeah, Cherki has been a joy. He hasn't played as much as the other 3 ahead of him to be on that list. I think Kroupi doesn't get the love he deserves because he's playing for Bournemouth. But 11 goals for Bournemouth.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and that's why I have him at number 2. To be fair, I went Kroupi, Cherki, Anderson. Probably, actually, kind of in hindsight, I might switch Cherki and Anderson around purely because you're right. Cherki hasn't played as much, but I think as good as Anderson is, and again, we've spoken really, really glowingly about him because he is a fantasy football dream. He really is. The points he gets in fantasy, I think he does a lot of the dirty stuff really, really well, and he is that sort of player. And I think if you had him at United or City or one of the bigger clubs, you'd be talking about him in the same mould as Kante, Rodri, that sort of impact. I'm not saying it would be that good, but that sort of impact on the club. I think because he's at Forest, that's probably why he's that little bit down. But I think, third, Kroupi second because of what he's done at Bournemouth. What is it, 11 goals and 10 assists or something like that he has?
Something like that. 11 goals anyway is what I know he has, Kroupi. So let me pull it up. I have it here. I can pull it up. It's the tail of the tape. No assists, according to Transfermarkt, which I find that hard to believe.
I find that hard to believe, but
I think
somebody
that's a lot of.
Check us.
I assume
somebody out in social land will fact check us. But even at that, let's take the assists out of the equation. 11 goals is still a decent return for somebody. For a midfielder, at no disrespect, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
and he's 19.
Yeah. I think you've got. He has to be. He has to be certainly in the conversation. And any other season, you'd be kind of looking at him going, yeah, absolutely. But I think there's only one winner here, isn't there?
I mean, there's only one winner here. Like, as I said, Elliot Anderson, as you said, he's a fantasy football. He's also a starter fantasy football asset machine. He gets his DEFCON, he gets his tackles, he gets his distance, he gets shots, he gets enough of everything that he's always high on every metric. He's an all-rounder midfielder. Wherever he goes in the summer, probably City by the sound, wherever he goes in the summer, they're getting a stunning player. I back Anderson. I'm not an Adam Morton fan. I think anybody who buys Adam Morton is getting another Jack Rodwell or Calvin Phillips type player, or Ross Barkley. You know, that category. Once they jump, they die. Anderson's the real deal to me. Kroupi, as we said, Cherki has brought street football back to the Premier League, and in an era where teams are becoming more and more low block and more defensive, I think we're about to see the dawning of fun football again over the next 2 or 3 years, because to unlock that rigid, static, back 4, back 5, transitional type team, what you need to unlock that is street ballers. The guys who know how to wiggle and jiggle and do something kind of off the cuff that a soldier-like team can't figure out. And I think Cherki Olise is doing that over in Bayern. Rashvili is doing that, or however you pronounce his name, is doing that with PSG. Cherki's doing that in the Premier League. And I think we're going to start seeing more and more of the tricksters coming back in football, and I want him here first.
Oh, I'm absolutely here for it. I'm absolutely. Well, look, I mean, if you look at what's happened in the title race over the last 6 games, Arsenal have been very, very good, but they've been very, very regimented throughout the season. And we've said this all season. And now all of a sudden, that's not yielding the results that it has been. But City, as you said, starting to play a bit of street football, letting Cherki, Doku, Semenyo play ball. Yeah?
Yeah.
And it's gotten them back into the title race and possibly might win them the title. So I think there's going to be another shift tactically next season where people go, hang on a second now. Maybe playing actual football is the way to move forward. And Cherki has been a big, big part of that for City this season.
Yeah.
My heart sank a little bit when Liverpool didn't sign him because they were long touted destination for him. They had met with him. They had kind of had all of the discussions that you would normally have, and then for whatever reason, City swooped in and got him. And I was kind of I would have taken Cherki over Wirtz if you'd given me the choice at the time.
I said this in the summer as well.
Yeah. Look, if it was a choice between the two, I would have taken him. He has been really, really good, and he's been super fun to watch.
Yeah.
Just as a football purist, he's been really, really fun to watch.
But and this is the thing, and this is why the fella that I'm really excited about next year, and I creamed over him enough times, and the fella I'm really excited to see up front next season, Ryan. I think I get this weird little thing every once in a while with players. You've all seen my love Mitrovic, effective as fuck. Every once in a while, there's just a player that, for whatever reason, and there's just something about them that I go, that one, I like that one. And Ryan is currently my one where I'm like, we're moving into this kind of Brazilian-esque beach footballer vibe, unlocking a tight defense. This fella that is built because he's not a small boy. So, I think he's going to be one to have on the reserve for next season's Young Player of the Year. But anyway, this season's Young Player of the Year, it's obvious, right? It's obvious.
Well, it's obvious to me. I think it's got to be Nico O'Riley, right?
Nico O'Riley. It's Nico O'Riley.
It has to be.
It has to be. It can't be anybody else, surely.
No, it can't be. I mean, look, Nico O'Riley is a midfielder by craft. That's what he was coming up through the academies, etc., etc. He's reimagined himself as. I don't want to say the next iteration of Trent Alexander-Arnold, moving from fullback into midfield and acting as that extra body in midfield. But he's kind of done that, and he's done it better.
But he's also played as
he has done it better because
he's played in midfield at times. He's played at left back at times.
He can play anywhere, but when he plays full back, you do see him transitioning from full back into midfield, being that extra body. I think what he has, look, we all know Trent started that trend under Klopp. That's where all of this started. That's fine because of the creativity that Trent had. What Nico O'Riley has, he doesn't have the same right foot that Trent has, because we know that Trent's right foot is just, it's a wonder of nature. But anyway, what O'Riley has is he has a better engine than him. He has a better football brain than him.
Oh, football IQ off the fucking charts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He absolutely has. And he's able to transition from defence to midfield into attack. O'Riley has four or five goals since the start of the year.
He has 5 goals and 4 assists this season. Just in the league. That's just in the league. In the Cup, in the Carabao Cup, he's another 2 goals. In the Champions League, he has a goal and 2 assists. So you're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 goals and 8 assists in 40 odd games, which for 20 years of age, 21 years of age.
But not only for 21 years of age, these are numbers that you would expect to come from a decent midfielder.
Yeah, not a left back.
Not a left back, who's playing in a team that has a serious amount of attacking talent, and yet he's popping up with 8 goals and 8 assists.
For me,
he's doing it at both ends of the pitch. He has. That's So I think the only reason he's not in contention for Player of the Year is at the start of the season he was a little bit in and out of the team, and I don't think that was anything down to him. I think that was down to Pep trying to find his best formation, particularly at the back.
Yes.
I think he got injured as well. He's out for a couple of weeks with injury. But when the season started, like City had signed Ait Nouri, they had signed is it Kuzmanov?
Yes,
Or Kushinov.
Yeah.
They had signed a couple of players at the back, and I think Pep was doing his typical rotation to try and find what the best formation was, and he kind of stumbled into O'Riley filling in at that left back spot. After Gvardiol got injured, he kind of stumbled into that, and I think Ait Nouri was
already out.
Injured. And since then, O'Reilly's taken that opportunity and gone, fuck this. This is my position.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going anywhere.
Like, if it's me,
and he's made himself undroppable.
Well, he should probably, he won't, but he should start for England in the World Cup, but he won't.
He won't.
Lewis Hall is going to be the left back there. He'll be on the plane, but I think this is going to be one of those ones where, every time a tournament comes around, there's this player, and it's like, how do we fit him into the team? Do we, like what happened with Trent under Southgate? It's like, do we just play him in midfield?
Yeah, they don't know how to accommodate him because he's one of these players. So England typically like playing to a system. It's the 4-4-2 or it's the 3-5 or whatever it is. Player like O'Riley, you can't just pigeonhole him.
He's not.
Give him a job to do.
Yeah, it's this thing of, it's the same reason why there's certain, and Jesus, was it even in the Glenn Hoddle era? It was like, this goes back a long time. It's like I wouldn't necessarily say the maverick, but the fluid footballers. If to play for England, it's like, this man plays right wing. That's what he does, and he's very good at that. But it's like, if you have this guy where it's like, play midfield, play a fullback, it's like, well, we'll just leave him on the bench in case we need him in either or.
Yeah. Well, this is historically has been a problem with England all the way back to, Peter Beardsley in the early 90s, Glenn Hoddle in the 80s. You can probably go all the way back to even to 1966. But, people of my generation will remember the Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes debate. Can you fit the three of them into midfield? And you couldn't because
they were so stuck on a 4-4-2 and played Paul Scholes.
Yeah, he couldn't come up with a system that fit everybody, kind of thing. So I think that could be O'Reilly's problem when it comes to the World Cup. That the England setup is not fluid enough to accommodate him. But for City, he's been dynamite, and particularly since the start of the year. He's been absolutely.
I would say he's probably their player of the year, which I know is mental when you think Bernardo Silva, Haaland, Semenyo. But I think Nico O'Riley has been their best player this season, which is a huge statement to say. And as you said earlier, probably could and should be in the conversation player of the year, but also I think it's also given what is up there for the main player of the year award. I think it's one of these ones where it'll be given the young player of the year award because Bruno's taking the player of the year. Just don't even put him into that fucking category. Leave him alone. He's going to be there in a year or two time. But for now, give him young. I think it's tapping. I think he's been fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he has, and I think there's probably a bit just around the player of the year piece. There might be a little bit of let's protect him.
Maybe.
Let's not put him into the limelight just yet. But we'll give him a nice nudge in the right direction. We'll give him the young player of the year. And particularly with it being a World Cup year, they may not want to be throwing
extra smoke,
throwing the spotlight on a 21-year-old coming into World Cup year, possibly something like that. But
adding more
young player of the
year,
exactly. It's a tap in though. You hit the nail on the head. It should be an absolute tap in for him to win young player of the year. Unlike what I had said about the player of the year, I do think he wins it.
Yeah.
And I think he's deserving of it.
So we're saying Golden Boot, Haaland, player of the year, Bruno, young player of the year, Nico.
I'm going to say that either Declan Rice or Bernardo Silva wins player of the year. I don't think they should. I think it should be Bruno, but I don't think he wins it because of the nostalgia / English narrative.
Biases. Fair.
Yes.
Fair. This has been good. Should we look at game week 35?
Why not? Because there's actually a fair bit still to play for, to be fair. I mean, let's just take 30 seconds to give Spurs their due.
They've
That
never
they
been playing
actually won
football.
a game. They've actually won a game of football. I came on this podcast 2 weeks ago and I said, forget the project, forget everything else, go win a fucking game of football. And we'll give credit where it's due. They battled and they got the result.
They did, actually, in fairness to them.
To be fair to them, I still think they're going to go down, but let's give them their due. There's still a lot to play for, particularly at that end of the
Even
table.
the middle packet, the European type, like my team Fulham are 3 points off of the
everywhere there is.
Like my team Fulham were 3 points off of, like, we're 10. Currently 3 points off Chelsea. If you told us that at the start of the season, we'd be like, okay.
You'd snap their hand off.
I'd say most Fulham fans would be like, how fucking bad did Chelsea fuck their season?
Yeah, that's true.
If we're going to be totally honest here, I think we'd be more looking at it. And it's the same for teams like Brentford. It's the same. Like, if you were told Brentford right now, they'd be level on points with Chelsea, and they'd be like, look at this, right? So I'm just pulling up the table here from sixth. Sixth is on 50 points. So within 3 points of them goes down to 11. Sunderland are 4.
And actually, so Sunderland are in 12th on 46 points. There's 4 points between 6th and 12th.
Yeah.
It's mental.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mental.
Like,
I think that, we've spoken about things that are still to play for the season. I think obviously the title is still very much in the balance. I think European football as regards of Europa and Conference is still in the balance.
Yeah, top 5 is
Champions
solidified.
League is pretty much done, I think, at this point, given
8 point swing between 5th and 6th. I think the top 5
I don't see that changing over the last 4 games unless Villa continue in free fall. But even at that, I don't know whether Brighton and Bournemouth have enough to catch Villa. So I think you can.
Well, for Villa to fall out of it, you're looking at them to lose 3 of the 4 remaining games, and one of those other teams to win
3 of the 4.
3 of the 4.
Yeah, and even like I don't see it happening. Yeah. So at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom, if you take out that 2nd to 5th spot, which I think is those teams are set in whatever order, because it doesn't really matter at this stage, other than Arsenal City. But there's so much to play for elsewhere.
It
really, really is.
Teams on their summer holidays this year.
Huh?
Normally by this stage of the season, we're looking at teams on their holidays.
You are. I don't remember a season where there's so much still at stake.
Like, there's only 2 teams right now who you go, they're up to fuck all, and that's Newcastle and Palace. Like, they're the only 2 teams in the league who you're like, you're up to now. And like, Palace still have
you might throw Sunderland into that mix. Just they looked like they were on their hollybops against Forest.
They're probably the 3. Everybody else is either playing the state
everybody else
or to get European football. So 2, maybe 3 teams on their summer holidays. This is mental. So right, let's speak of which. Here's the games. Lovely stacked calendar because it's a bank holiday weekend. We've got a long weekend. So Friday night we have Leeds Burnley.
I think Leeds secure Premier League status for next season this weekend.
At home
I think
Elland Road,
mathematically they can still go down. I think they're safe anyway. But mathematically they will secure it this season. Burnley were decent against City, but Burnley away from home are different.
Elland Road at 8 p.m. on a Friday night with a bunch of Yorkshiremen. Baying for blood. Their team stays in the league.
Yeah, it's Leeds. It's Leeds all the way. I think you're looking at DCL for maybe a goal or 2 here as well.
Okafor is going to be my asset pick because I think at this point in the season I'm looking for differentiators. I'm looking for those guys who are going to give me the edge. I think a lot of people are going to put on Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but if you look at recent form, Okafor is the one slightly ahead of the trend. So I'm going to pin my hopes on Okafor, or however you pronounce his name. That's just me. Yeah, Burnley, don't touch him with a stick, and the fact that Scott Parker has even got to week 35 still in the job is... I'm going to be pissed about this until he's not in the league. But the fact that we've got to week 35 and Scott Parker's still in the fucking job...
Yeah. And he'll be in a job next season to try and bring them back up.
No, they're going to relieve him of his duties in the summer. They're doing a full club-wide assessment. I was reading this morning. I was like, just fucking sack him now. He's the only manager that was on my sack list that hasn't been sacked. Every other one of them is gone.
It's gone.
But anyway, Leeds to be Burnley, Okafor, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, pick your poison. Saturday, right? We've got Brentford, West Ham. Brentford are at home.
Brentford are at home, but West Ham are fighting for their lives.
Brentford are going for Europa League football.
Yeah, I think West Ham are actually hitting a bit of form.
They are.
I do. I think they're hitting a little bit of form. I mean, to pull the result out of the bag against Everton the way they did, like that's the sort of stuff you want.
One loss, 2 draws, 2 wins in their last 5.
Yeah. So like I don't think a draw. I think a draw for West Ham away to Brentford is a decent result. I think they might just pip it. I could be wrong. I don't know, but yeah. For me, I think West Ham. That's kind of like a scrappy 1-0 to West Ham, or possibly a 0-0. It's tough to pick out some assets, but I think just given his performance against Everton during the week, I'm looking at Souček.
Do you know what? I love this because we do this and we get people think we're mental for a while. So last season we flagged Elliot Anderson. This season, since December, we've been flagging Souček. Now it's being talked about. We're sitting there going, we've been telling you this since fucking.
Yeah, we've been saying this to you lads for God knows how long.
Yeah, I like Souček. The other assets for me are, I think this game is going to come down to one battle on the pitch, and it's a big battle. Actually, it's 2 big battles. The first one is Queven Kelleher and Hermansen, both 2 form keepers in the league, and the other battle is the one between Thiago and Mavropanos. I think those are the 2 key ones. I think if whichever player comes off the top of the Thiago Mavropanos battle, because Mavropanos and Souček has come back in the team, has been a different player, by the way, considering how shit he was at the start of the year. Mavropanos versus Thiago. I'm going to say, asset-wise, I'm going for Thiago because it's at home, because he's looking down the barrel of a golden boot. I think there's also something screaming at me. Brentford don't drop many points at home. And with the fact that Spurs lost Simmons and Solanke last week, there's just this small thing that says to me, West Ham go into this going, Jesus Christ, if we win this, we're okay. And Brentford pick them off.
Yeah, I think the opposite. I think West Ham look at this and go, we have a chance to
get it done.
Yeah, to try and get it done sooner rather than later. The last thing West Ham want, because if you look at their run in, they have a couple of 6-pointers, I think, coming up. I don't think they want to go into that Spurs. I think they play Spurs before the end of the season. Possibly not. I might be wrong on that one, but I know they've got a couple of 6-pointers, and I don't think they want to go into those 6-pointers level with Spurs. They want to do what they can to. Yeah. I think so.
Interesting.
Because ultimately, like, if West Ham were to draw and Spurs win, then Spurs go ahead of them on goal difference.
Yeah.
So they don't. I think they're going into every game going, we need to win this. We can't afford to drop points. So I think with that in mind, Brentford are there pretty much for European football, and if you handed that to them at the start of the season, they probably would have taken it. So I wonder, are they taking a bit of time off now? Possibly. I don't know.
No, I watched
West Ham
Manchester United last night, and they were the better team. Other than just Bruno being sex on legs, Brentford were the better team. So I'm in this. Oh, I knew we'd find a way to disagree before the end of this.
Yeah, there we go. It was going to happen eventually.
I'm going for Brentford. You're going for West Ham. I'm going Thiago. You're going Souček. Newcastle, Brighton.
It's Brighton, isn't it?
It's Brighton. It's Newcastle at home, though.
Yeah.
Do they care enough
now? This is one of these guys. I don't know. Oh. I don't even know.
It's crazy good, but
yeah, I don't even know who you look at asset-wise here. Certainly from a Newcastle side of things. So I actually think this has draw written on it.
Yeah.
And you're probably like
Kadioglu and Theo probably.
Kadioglu has been really, really good for the last couple of games. But again, if you're looking at assets who are probably already picked up, he's probably already been taken if you're playing a draft system. And certainly, us at Statter, he's already gone in any draft systems that we're running. Mitoma possibly might be flying under the radar because he hasn't been in and out of the team. Yeah, but he came on.
Ruger maybe Welbeck.
We see Welbeck has been kind of starting on the bench and coming on. Mitoma came on against Chelsea because of an injury and kind kind of random ragged. So he might be an option there if he's not been picked up already. I think your banker is Kadioglu though.
Your banker is Kelly. I think that's. Apart from that, I don't. As you said, I don't. Newcastle, Theo, probably. If you need something from the Newcastle way. Apart from that, I'm not seeing anything that stands out right now. Anthony Gordon, if they're going to score, but again, I agree with you. I think this one has draw written all over it. So moving on from the game we can't call to the game that nobody cares about, Wolves Sunderland. Wolves at
Let's
home,
spend all of
Sunderland away.
who cares? Like it's a dead rubber.
The only asset there is Mukele, the right back for Sunderland, with a cannon throw. Apart from that,
Yeah.
don't touch anybody. Move on.
No, yeah, I wouldn't even bother looking at the game, and I wouldn't even bother looking up the result. Stay away from it. Don't bother picking up anybody.
Arsenal at home to Fulham.
I am actually going to watch this game. I think I'm actually going to watch this game because I think there's banana skin written all over this, lad.
It really is. My fear.
There really is.
My fear is we have bought a lot of players from Arsenal over the last few years. There's like this Hale End kind of distribution centre to Fulham. Reece Nelson last year, obviously Emil Smith Rowe, Alex Iwobi. There's a consistent trend of players. So maybe are these the type of fellas who sort of slightly up against because it's their old club, it's their academy club. It's Fulham away. We're fucking awful away from home. At home, bank them all day long. Arsenal should just come out and steamroll. However, apart from Man City, Fulham's games against the other top teams has been. We've seen the 2 games against United. They had a draw and they had the 3-2. You've seen the 2 games against Liverpool. I think you even said after them, it's like, oh fuck, right? They actually do play football. People expect a slow block when they play football, but European football still on the line. I'm still just saying it's Arsenal at home with a fight on their hands. I think Fulham don't have the stomach for that fight away from home. If it was in Craven Cottage, I'd be like, banana skin, put your house on something fucking crazy happening. But it's at the Emirates. I can't see it.
Yeah, to be honest, like if this was towards the start of the season, I'd be like it's an Arsenal win all day long. But Arsenal haven't been great.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they get on tomorrow night against Atletico, and that'll kind of feed into what might happen at the weekend. Because say again,
that's the only saving grace I have for Fulham is that they play Atletico. They're both ended with Atletico.
Yeah.
Asset wise, though,
so
I hate saying it, but I'm picking Gyökeres.
Well, yeah. Look, you're guaranteed he's going to play because. Yeah. I mean, from an Arsenal side of things, that's who you have to look at because he's guaranteed pretty much to play now because Havertz's been injured. I know Saka has come back, but he's the sort of player that even when he goes out injured, you're probably keeping him on your bench anyway. So he's probably not going to be available. Odegaard is a potential option there as well. I think he'll want to get minutes ahead of the World Cup. I think Fulham might just nick this, or it might be a draw.
I'd love you to be right because obviously.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
Pinning on Gyökeres,
Sessegnon is possibly an option as well.
Well, I'm picking Gyökeres as the asset because I said this at the start of the year. His numbers and stat come the end of the year, but the profile of teams that he scores against does not. Turns out I was right. When people just give my predictions time, I tend to get more right than I get wrong, which really pisses people off. I'm right about Gyökeres, and I reckon he scores against the weekend. Against Fulham. They're probably going to play Gabriel Jesus against Atletico. Gyökeres will play the league game, and it'll be whichever of the number 9s is fit and firing. I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel Marino was to play tonight and Gyökeres on the bench. They spent a lot of money for a striker to leave him on the bench, but he can play at the weekend against Fulham, and that's not all. Bournemouth Palace.
Bournemouth being at home. My pick, we've spoken about him earlier, is Kroupi, or possibly Ryan. Palace are probably on their holidays at this stage. There's nothing really to play for.
Just leave in. They're all the only player I'm picking here outside of yours is Mateta.
I was about to say Mateta potentially because he's probably playing for a place on the plane. given that Ekitike is gone, there's a spot there behind Mbappe for the France team. But even at that, I'm like, no. And I'm not picking Munoz because of what he did against Liverpool at the weekend. He can.
What did he do?
Oh, when the keeper was down, he just decided to knock the ball over everybody into the goal, into the net.
Yeah,
for the Palace
you take your goal.
You know.
No,
he can politely go suck a lemon.
Fuck that. You played to the whistle, and he played to the whistle. Munoz.
If it was any other team, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. But it was Liverpool, so no, he can go politely suck a lemon.
The big game of the weekend, the Manchester United Liverpool. I can't believe we didn't do a deep dive on this. Manchester United Liverpool.
I know. Actually, how did we miss that?
That should have been the deep dive topic today. But anyway, Manchester United Liverpool. That's on Sunday.
You know what? When I think when United beat Liverpool this weekend, we'll probably be talking about it on the pod next week, and we can allow Dean to come on and gloat because I think this is United win. It's like outside of Bruno, who do you look at? I actually think you look at the United keeper, Lamens, is it? Yeah, I think so. Traditionally, if you look at games, Liverpool United games at Old Trafford, the keepers tend to have worldies. Doesn't matter if your name is Onana or Taibi or De Gea or Bosnich, whoever it is. They always seem to have worldies at some point. And
they can also lose. They can also lose 7-1.
Well, that was at Anfield.
You battered them at Old Trafford a few times. I would have said it differently.
But to be fair, there was a couple of 4-0 and 4-1 wins, but that was when Liverpool were playing under Klopp. They were playing the best football in the world, and United were a complete dumpster fire. That's not the case this time.
True. If Mo Salah was fit and available, I'd be saying pick Mo Salah, but that looks like his time is done. The other asset I'm going to go with is Casemiro. He's after equaling a record for most headed goals in a single season this year.
Casemiro is a very good shout, to be fair. Really, really good shout.
The retirement tour.
I can't really argue with that one.
The retirement tour. If you're looking for an outlier outside of Bruno, get Casemiro. He's probably good for a set-piece goal. Villa Spurs.
It's Villa. Villa are going to win. West Ham are going to win. Spurs are going to lose. Spurs are going to go down. I love it. Villa are going to... Villa win. I think Villa bounce back after the last game. I've said that the top 5 race is done. I think it is, but at the same time, I think they might just want the extra little bit of security, so then they can go and enjoy their holidays before the World Cup. This is the game where they do it. Your usual suspects of Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers, Matty Cash, they're the ones you'd normally look at. John McGinn is probably one to consider as well.
I'm going for a Spurs win and James Maddison as the asset.
Don't. No.
I'm going for a Spurs win and Solanke out, Javi Simmons out. Maddison has been eking back the fitness over the last 2 weeks. I think they roll the dice on him and go, look, you're not going to the World Cup by hell or fucking high water anyway. You have 3 games, and we will ice bath you, and we will buy you fucking 5 nuns to give you sponge baths for the summer. Just do something, and I think he does. Because I think Villa's probably the kind of
maybe
going to in a year's time anyway.
But I think Villa. I think Villa win. You think Spurs win?
I have to start disagreeing with you on certain things.
Maybe that's the heart instead of the head. But
Chelsea Forest.
This is a tough one to call because Forest have been hitting some really, really good form, and Gibbs White has been, last maybe 4 weeks has been. And not in a good way. Not in a good way. But Forest away from home, other than the win against Sunderland, they've been sketchy at best. I think this has got a draw written on it. I think it's a 1-1 draw.
Score draw.
And if you don't have Morgan Gibbs White, pick him up now because he's in some seriously good form.
I have my one outlier pick on this one. Chris Wood. He's back. He's been back for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Chris Wood is back.
He's back for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Chelsea's defence is a fucking pit of sadness. There's just something there that says the big man gets back on a scoring run against a.
And you got a goal against Sunderland at the weekend as well. So Yeah, that's not a bad shout.
Their form has upturned in the last 3 games, have coincided with Chris Wood being back up front, by the way.
Chris Wood coming back.
Everton
Good
City.
shout.
City.
Looking at City's games, if there is a banana skin for them, this could be it.
Yeah.
And I think the result comes down to, similar to what you were saying in Brentford, West Ham with Thiago. I think this comes down to Haaland versus Tarkowski.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
But I'm still back in a City. I'm back in a City win here, and I'm taking Nico O'Riley.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a value, Mateus Nunes for City. I know he's a midfielder playing in defence,
Nice
but
outlier.
again, if you're looking for a City player who hasn't been taken in your team or in your league, that's probably him or Husman up at centre half.
Even over the other side, over in FPL, people are going to have Nico, Haaland. They're going to have Nico and Haaland, and they're either going to have Cherki or Semenyo. They're going to have one of the two. So maybe even Doku.
Yeah.
Maybe even Doku.
Doku maybe
He's
as well.
One who kind of goes under the radar of them.
But he came on at the weekend and turned the FA Cup semi-final back in City's favour. So possibly Doku. Actually, it's not a bad show.
Yeah, it's not a bad show. Fucking hell, it's actually a mad weekend. Do you know what? These last 3 weeks are always messy because there's so much on the radar that you're kind of almost looking at it. And like, we're over time now, so we're going to wrap it up because the next 3 weeks are going to be fucking mental. And I think we're happy enough with our calls for Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Golden Boot, and these games the weekend. Who the fuck knows? Football.
I know, but it's great.
Football.
It's great. Love this time of the year.
I do, yeah. Oh, yeah. 3 more weeks.
3 more weeks.
And then we're going to take a break.
John, where can we find? John, where can we find all of this? All of the lovely articles and bits and bobs. Where can you talk to us?
I was going to land it on you. Right, I was going to say.
I knew you were. That's why I said it.
Okay. Right, we have 3 more weeks.
It's right here, lads.
We're over at. I was lifting up my top. We're over at Stardraft.com. So if you go onto Stardraft.com right now, I've been on a writing buzz. I have an article on Bruno's assist record. I have an article on the Golden Boot race. I have an article on our key picks from week 35. I have an article on the PSR and SCR handover to the new financial regulations. So there's a shitload of stuff happening over on the blog. Obviously, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. Those are the main channels. We're obviously on the other stuff. We do a live every weekend for TikTok. So wherever you really want to come and have a chat with us, do. App is on the App Store, going through some final testing and bits and pieces. So we're going to be ready for next season for our play. So in 3 weeks' time, we're going to take a break, probably for a week or two. We're going to come back for some World Cup. And then for the remaining pocket of the summer, after the World Cup until the new season starts, we're going to be purely focused on how to get y'all playing our football game. Sounds like a good time, right?
That sounds like a great summer.
It's going to be
going to be a great couple of weeks, and then a great summer. Looking forward to already to the start of the new season.
I know, transfer season. Anyway, on that note, peace out. Love ya. Talk to y'all soon.